Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage, giving you another episode of Tools That Don't Suck. So these little pieces of metal here that I have are actually quite handy. I got these earlier this summer and I've been wanting to set for quite a while, and I thought I would show you guys these and you might find it helpful. So these are what's called basically like body sweeps. These were, I think, originally used in the car designing world as far back as maybe the 30s or something. I'm sure somebody will correct me in the history. I'm not 100% on the dates, but they were used originally when designing cars, especially when making them out of clay, making models. These were used to basically figure out a common contour or sweep to a panel. So all cars from early on all the way through, they would use these to set the curve of like the side of a car, curve of a hood or a roof, everything. They use these, and they're basically numbered. The ones I have are numbered from 0 to 100, and each one, the curve changes just a little bit at a time. So I made this, well actually I didn't make it, Andrew will get mad. Andrew made this stand for me. I bought these in a group buy that somebody did on one of the metal shaping boards, and we finally made a rack for them. I have them hanging behind my brake, and while the work I do isn't real high-end like some other guys that are doing full-on coach building, they are really handy even for the average guy like you or I, where you need to make a panel, where you're trying to figure out the shape of something, especially if you're doing, say, like a chop on a car, and you want to figure out a contour. I use it even when I'm making a new panel from scratch for like a dash or something, and I want to make a curve in a panel, like a style line, and I have no like data point to go off of. You can pick one of these that works or looks good, and you can get a nice curve to a panel. So the shorter ones are the steep curves. So as they get more steep of a curve, these get shorter, so it's really nice for using on the side of the car. And we can show you some close-ups, but they're all numbered. The ones I have are lightly laser etched, and basically you can use it to check the curve of the panel and figure out what it is. If the panel has a curve that kind of varies, like you have a panel that goes from something that's a really steep curve to it, or like this, and then it reduces down, you can basically measure and write the numbers on your panel. So if you're trying to make a new panel, you can check with your sweeps, you can check to make sure the panel you're creating matches what the original panel was. So they're really, really handy for that. And the only downside is you need to really have them like laser cut or CNC cut because they do need to be pretty exact. These are made out of aluminum and were cut on, I believe, a plasma table, and they work pretty good. They were cheap for what they normally cost. I think in the group buy I did, they were $600 or $700 for the set, which is cheap compared to what you see when you have to buy them from somebody that actually stocks them. It is pretty cheap, but if there is files online, if you do some searching, there is a file out there for you can put into a CNC. So if you know somebody that has a plasma table or a water jet, and they will let you take that file. The file, I think, is basically figured out that you can use a 4x8 sheet of aluminum, and this will nest all these in there so you can cut a full set out of a full sheet of aluminum. So if you have access to the machine, somebody that can run it, and some aluminum, you could potentially do it for pretty cheap. Again, I got in on a group buy, cost a little bit more money because we were paying a shop to actually make it, but they are super handy, and when I do use them, I'm very thankful that I have them because I didn't really have another method for that. So that is tools that definitely do not suck. If you want to know a little bit more about sweeps in general, you can Google it. Some of the metal shaping forums out there have great discussions about them. There's a metal shaping board on Facebook, a group that has a lot of talk about them. You can look in there, and maybe you can find somebody that's looking to do a group buy as well, and you can get yourself a set. So that's all I have for this one. Appreciate you guys checking it out. As always, we do videos on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Definitely hit the subscribe button and the little bell if you want to be notified when we have more videos coming out. And we appreciate it if you guys leave a comment if you like these type of videos. Thanks, guys. Catch you later.